Eoin Lacey, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Dan. It's is this number 3, number 4?
No,
This is 4. Number 4. Okay, brilliant. I feel like I'm returning to home here. So
You are returning to home, yeah.
Excellent.
And I'm gonna take your guidance on this because I know you're like, I don't like listening to podcasts for the asking. I'm not going to ask you how you are because I already asked you how you are.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Owen's good, by the way. Owen's good. We're going to dive straight into
Go.
this topic. You were the man for me to have on for this topic, but I probably get asked questions on this. I don't know why I get asked questions, but every single week, and there's people in the studio every single week talking about testosterone.
Right.
It's such a buzz topic at the moment. Older, younger, male, female, everyone's talking about testosterone. So for me, this is going to be the Masterclass.
Okay,
on
right.
testosterone.
Okay.
You're going to be the master, and I'm going to be in the class.
Yeah, brilliant.
So let's start from the very start. Can you give me a basic understanding of what is testosterone and where does it come from?
Right. So I have a very simple way of understanding hormones. No hormone works on its own. So no hormone in the whole body works on its own. Now, testosterone has been popularized because it helps people get jacked, right? That's been around for a long time. And back in the day, if you had asked me this question 5 years ago, we would never even recommend testosterone replacement therapy. But dealing with so many patients now, I actually did the number before I came here. I have over 70 males that are taking testosterone replacement therapy coming to see me in my clinic. Now, I do nutrition and training and help with sleep and digestion and blood sugar management, but it is a huge issue. So more and more men are having low testosterone. So the question that people ask me is, well, I should have just take testosterone, and then what does it do in the body? I'm not going to say it's a fountain of youth. There's no such thing, but if you have low testosterone, it will have a massive impact on your body. Now, one of the things I just want to clarify is, people think when they think about testosterone, they think about hair, they think about muscles, they think about boners, they think about having a high libido. Testosterone, the biggest impact that testosterone has in the body is mental health. It's joy. It's feeling self-worth. It's getting enjoyment from doing something. So a lot of guys that come and see me, they just work all day. They're getting no real enjoyment. So when we find they have low testosterone, are they not feeling good because they got low testosterone? Have they got low testosterone because they've been stressed out? So for me, testosterone, like any hormone in the body, needs to be in optimal ranges for a multitude for energy, for sperm count, for vitality, for energy, for sleep, for muscle mass, for bone density. So it's one of many hormones in the body that has to be in check. Is it the be all and end all? I don't think so, but the research when it comes to replacement therapy is very powerful. If you have someone that's low testosterone and you do replacement in conjunction with lifestyle, it can really turn people's life around. So in a way, it's an anabolic hormone. It's very important for the maintaining and building of muscle mass. It's very good for body composition, for mental health, for neuroplasticity. It's a vital hormone for many different things, but it never works on its own. Hormones don't work on its own. And I have a little simple way. This is more for people that are into endocrinology. A simple way of, if you think about all hormones, we call it a tracer. So you have to think of how the hormone is transported. You have to think about where the receptor is. You have to look at the amount of a hormone. You have to look at where the conversion is. You have to look at the expression of the hormone, and then you have to look at the other related hormones. So some people have high cortisol. When you have high cortisol, you will eventually over time have expressed yourself as having low testosterone. If you've got massively high insulin levels, which is another hormone, your cortisol will go down and your testosterone will go down. So hormones play with each other all the time, and they impact other hormones in the body. So testosterone on its own is not going to be all and end all, but if it's in balance in conjunction with all your other hormones in balance, you're going to live a much healthier life.
So it is the fountain of youth.
Well, technically, yeah, it is.
So as we go along, I'm probably going to ask you to confirm or deny rumours or common phrases we hear. This 50-50-50 one. You take a man who's 50 now and a man who's 50 years ago, and the man who's 50 now has 50% of the testosterone. So 50% decline in 50 years. I would strongly agree with that.
Yeah? This is the thing, and people ask me all the time, what's the optimal range of testosterone? To be honest with you, there is lab ranges. There is 100% lab ranges. You've got free testosterone, you've got total testosterone. Irish ranges, you're looking between 9 and 30 for total, 0.2 to 0.6 for free. But you always chase symptoms. You chase how someone is feeling, and you can't plot a graph with one dot. So what you need to do is, if you think you might have low testosterone, get your blood done. Get your blood done at least once a year, if even twice a year. And then you can say, Jenny, Mac, this is going down. I need to address that. Or maybe I'm drinking too much and it's impacting my liver, and I'm increasing. There's a hormone in the body called sex hormone binding globulin. It goes up with excessive alcohol, poor sleep, blood sugar, mismanagement. And if you have a lot of sex hormone binding globulin, you're binding up all your testosterone. So you might actually have enough testosterone, but you're binding it all together. So, and this is the thing, I hear people talk all the time, like, I should be taking testosterone. You're not sleeping. You're not training. You're not eating enough protein. You're doing too much cardio. And that's one thing I found over COVID. A lot of guys doing high intensity interval training, which I'm not against. High intensity to me is different from what other people think. High density training is where people do a lot of work in a short space of time. That's density training. Intensity in all the sports science literature is the amount of weight that you lift or the explosivity of a movement. But guys are doing HIIT training, killing themselves, not sleeping, cutting their calories, and their testosterone is going into the toilet. So you can cause yourself to have low testosterone. And that's actually what a lot of UFC fighters did back in the day, where they'd overtrain themselves, then they go to testosterone replacement clinic, say, oh, look, my testosterone is 4. And they go, man, you need to take this. And then they would get a cert saying they have it. But they've only got it because they're been super low from overtraining and so on. So
I think you've answered every question on my list in that 30 seconds. Okay. I'm going to bring you back and I kind of clarify a couple of ones. So that 50% figure, it's lifestyle factors really over the last 50 years that have changed. The environment we live in now is less conducive to healthy testosterone levels because of higher stresses.
Yeah, but yeah, it would be. So there's a lot of things that will impact testosterone. One thing that really impacts in people, and I've been saying this for donkeys, and I feel like I'm kicking a dead horse saying the same thing again. But pollutants in the environment, plastics, dioxins, phthalates, parabens, they all impact in the bodies. They're called EDs, not for erectile dysfunction, for endocrine disruptors. So, for example, if I took my keys here down on the floor to open my house, if I went to your house, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't open your front door. Pretty sure. However, I could probably get one of those keys into your front door, whereby stopping you actually getting in when you got home. So if you've got all these chemicals in the body, you block up and you cause cell dysfunction. You cause a lot of blockage and irritation to the receptors. So hormones can't do the job if the receptors aren't there to actually receive them into the cell to do the job. So for me, there's a lot of chemicals, there's a lot of overtraining, there's a lot of under resting or poor sleep. And that is the ideal environment for people to start to bring their testosterone down. And like even fertility now. Did you ever hear of people having fertility problems 50 years ago? I'm sure there was, but it's massively increasing. People's muscle mass is going down. Their longevity. Actually, really good research to show that muscle mass is the organ of anti-aging. And for me, I'm not saying I don't necessarily agree with that, but if someone has muscle mass, it means they're eating right. They're sleeping right, they're exercising on a regular basis, and they're looking after themselves. So there's those factors that are maintaining the muscle mass. There's a Dr. Gabrielle Lyons, and her big thing is about people eating more protein. And she says people aren't fat, they're under-muscled. So people losing muscle mass, not maintaining muscle mass, is that related to testosterone? 100%. So again, I don't necessarily think everyone should start taking testosterone, and that's, please listeners, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying like any hormone in the body, it needs to be in balance. And one of the things I honestly believe, one of the most powerful ways to get testosterone optimized is to control your blood sugar. Like it's not rocket science. If you can imagine like a seesaw, the body doesn't mind a few waves up and down. A bit of blood sugar up, blood sugar down, it's no problem. The body can counteract that with glucagon and insulin and so on. It can control it quite well. It's extremes of massively high and massively low. And when that happens, there's always regulatory impact where the body has to bring it down really fast. And this reactive oxygen species, this stress that those seesaws, the hormones go, will impact you over time. Bad sleep, dehydration. Like I check guys. Like I used to do a lot of consulting for soccer teams, and some of the soccer teams I worked with would fine players for being dehydrated. You are 100. There's no controversy here. If your dehydration, your reaction time goes down, your decision making is impaired, and the risk of injury goes higher. Just drink some fucking water.
Yeah.
And get some element, get some electrolytes in there. So that's there. But when people are not eating right, they're dehydrated, they're not sleeping, of course the testosterone is going to go down. So by taking testosterone, it's not going to solve the problem. When I did my exams in functional medicine, back in 2005, they had this, way of looking at every situation. It's called the ATMs, the antecedents, triggers, and mediators. So if someone has low testosterone, they come into my clinic and we assess them. And there's a nice little questionnaire online. It's called the ADAM test. It's the androgen deficiency of aging men questionnaire. You can look up. It gives you a bit of a synopsis of whether you might have low testosterone. But when they come in, I'm looking at their sleep. But I'm looking at what life does this person live that represent low testosterone. Maybe it's that they're not sleeping. Maybe they're not digesting protein. Maybe they're doing intermittent fasting, which is not for everybody, guys. It's not for everybody. Maybe they're cutting their calories down too low. Maybe they're not mixing up their types of nutrients that they're consuming. Maybe they're zinc deficient. So people would say, oh, take zinc. Zinc will help your testosterone. Yes, it has been shown that if you're deficient in zinc and you've got low testosterone, taking some zinc can actually help boost it. Same thing with carnitine. Carnitine has been shown to have some impact on people with low testosterone that are carnitine deficient. It's like that joke that Eddie Murphy says when he's starving and someone throws you a cracker. What's the best cracker ever? It's the best cracker ever. Yeah, it's the best cracker because you're starving. You know, so if you're deficient in any one of these things, you know, solving that problem will have a massive impact on other areas of the body. Same thing with thyroid. Thyroid problems for females is massive. So too with digestive health is a massive issue. So my problem is when someone represents with low testosterone, why? What life are they living? What decisions are they making? What diet are they consuming? What lifestyle are they living to not only cause that, but to sustain it? And the solution is not jabbing yourself in the belly or in the bum with testosterone to fix it. However, again, 5 years ago, I would have said, don't go near it. But now we're working with so many clients that have it. It has changed. It has torn people's mental health. No, I'm not saying this is the solve for mental health issues. I'm not saying that at all. But in conjunction with a therapist, with a physician, with a nutritionist, with a trainer, as one of the spokes in the wheel, it can be very powerful. If you have low testosterone and you're getting that resolved with lifestyle and possibly taking some, it can make a huge change. And this is the thing. I've got an iPhone there. It's not particularly new iPhone. It's an iPhone 11. But I remember the first iPhone and how it evolved. And like, I wasn't sitting there with my Nokia 3210 saying, I'm not going to get this. This is a fad. This is not. The research is there. And testosterone, I think it was started to use back in 1846, I heard. It's been used for like at least 90 years therapeutically. Is prescribed to people with solid benefits. The problem is, and I'm not bullying bodybuilders, I've got some friends that are bodybuilders, but that's what people think of when they think of testosterone, is getting jacked. Now, don't get me wrong, it is one of the four, if you are doing it, is one of the core, if you want to call it fundamental, I'm not going to call it supplement, but one of the core elements if you are looking to enhance your muscle mass. But when you don't go extreme, so if you were taking testosterone and you got back into the range you were down when you were 20, the risk and the research is there. Don't just take my word for it. There's research out there. And actually, I spoke to Robbie last week, and Robbie's a madman. He's a great guy. I said, just send me on some papers. Boom, like 50 papers straight to my WhatsApp. And I go, thanks, Robbie. Can you summarize that for me, Robbie? But anyway, the research is there. Once you take a therapeutic level to get back into the just higher normal range, the benefits are massive, and the side effects are very, very, very low. However, I'm not saying low for everybody. Obviously, you need to talk to a physician. You need to get your medical history checked and so on. But there's very little side effect if there's no other contraindication going on.
Yeah, I think the first part of everything you said there, all the lifestyle stuff, is why so many people go for TRT, because they want the magic pill, they want the bullet without fixing all the stuff there. But that's a nice explanation about why you shouldn't do that. Just to roll back a little bit on there's a few funny things coming into my head there when you're talking about soccer players getting fined for not drinking enough water. I've had people say to me before, I'm supposed to drink more water, but I can't drink water from plastic bottles because there's microplastics and phthalates in there. You can overthink this a little bit, I think. From your subjective point of view, in your opinion, how much of this stuff should we be freaking out about or be managing in our life? Because I know it's very hard to live a life without plastics. How much benefit am I going to get by going completely away from all these plastics and all the time and attention I'm putting into that in terms of my testosterone optimization or my lifestyle optimization, against trying to focus on the core stuff like sleep and eating and stuff like that? Because like obviously it's an issue. There's plastics.
It is an issue. So
parabens and
I'm not a big fan of I drink out of my plastic bottle just there. Well, a few things. I wouldn't be cooking in plastic. I wouldn't be heating in plastic.
Yeah.
You know, so and this is the thing. You see this bisphenol A or BPA free.
Yeah.
But it's some other BPA in it. It's BPS now. So then in 10 years' time it comes out, actually BPS is worse than BPA.
Yeah.
So my suggestion there is a few simple things that we can do. One, stainless steel will last a test of time. Glass is where you should go when it comes to drinking water bottles. Make sure you're not using Teflon. Teflon is terrible for the body. Anything. This is interesting. So there's a doctor by the name of Dr. Robert Roundtree. He's one of the presenters for Institute for Functional Medicine. What he says is, the solution to pollution is dilution. So when you give a toxin into the body and the body can't get rid of it, it will store it in fat cells. So the body will store it in fat cells because it doesn't want to put it somewhere else. But the body is subjected to loads of toxins every day. We breathe toxins in. We put toxins in our skin, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste. So just make clever decisions on what you put on your body, what you put in your body, what you drink and what you drink from. But don't waste your cortisol stressing out about, I had a plastic bottle. Calm down. The body is very efficient mechanism to detoxify the body. But people aren't moving. They're not sweating. They're putting crap on their skin. They're eating poor diets. But if you optimize the body by giving good nutrition, good proteins, good fats, good hydration, you sweat on a regular basis, maybe use a fire infrared sauna. And this thing now, I see people jumping into ice buckets all over the place. I love it. Actually, Adam just got one recently in his house.
I got the barrel, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was brilliant. It actually didn't fit that well, so I'll be honest with you. But it's So they're all really good things. They're all really good things in conjunction with eating well. In conjunction, no one wants to talk about going to sleep at night time, getting an eye mask. Like, you don't hear anyone putting pictures of themselves putting an eye mask on before they go to bed, but it's powerful. So I think ice buckets, I think, yes, it'll help, and yes, not drinking out of plastic bottles will help all the time, but just make better decisions. There's a company called the environmentalworkinggroup.org, EWG.org. And they have a list of all chemicals you should stay away from, like shampoos and deodorants and so on, and a lot of research beside it. They also have an app called the Dirty Dozen, listing down foods that you should avoid in certain countries. Like strawberries are toxic. Sorry, people from Wexford, but if you spray a lot of crops, particularly strawberries, like, I don't know if you remember, but strawberries are nearly as big as apples now, and there's very little taste in some of them. Depends on if you go to Keelings. But where's Keelings located? Where's it located?
Near the airport.
Oh, near the airport. Yeah. Surely that can't have anything to do with it. What? So people cleaning their vegetables and cleaning their fruits properly. So I think, and that's one thing I'm a big fan of people having diaries. If you want to have high testosterone, you need to act like someone that deserves high testosterone. And that means you eat enough protein, you get enough sleep, you exercise correctly, you don't overtrain, you sleep well, you control your blood sugar. And if you have, let's say you did get a bang in the balls. Let's just say that. And this has been documented. People that might have low testosterone, it could be from inflammation. I've got guys that have, had testicular cancer and they've had testicles removed. I've got guys that were in motorbike accidents and car crashes, guys that have had, damage done from playing rugby, and they legitimately need to be taking testosterone replacement therapy to get their levels optimal. So, but there's a lot that you can do. Making actively good decisions every day to optimize your own testosterone is my go-to start. If you want to add something on top of that down the line, of course you can. But do it with a physician. Do it with someone that knows what they're doing. Do it in a way that you can monitor and evaluate your numbers moving forward, at least, in my opinion, once or twice a year.
If someone has all of these lifestyle factors lined up, all's looking good, sleeping well, eating well, managing their environmental factors, what is the expected drop-off with age then? Because it's skewed, obviously, at the moment because our lifestyle factors are so poor and it's accelerating. But without those factors, what could you expect in a man's life normally with age, like in your 30s, 40s, 50s? What kind of drop-off you expect?
I looked that up a lot and I tried to get some numbers, but me and you are different, Dan.
Yeah.
If me and you are in a pub right now, the spectrum of males now varies greatly, from their training history to their medical history to the job they do to if they're going through time zones. So there's no exact, reduction as age goes on. There is a medical one, but it's so unique. It's so unique. So you can't say, okay, by the time I'm 50, my level is going to be X. Because if you still eat well, you still train well, you're still sleeping, you're maybe taking supplements that other people weren't, maybe, telephone use, electromagnetic fields, all these things that people stress over. Control the controllables. And that's one of my things I get across to everybody. Don't be stressed about stuff you can't control. You can't control those. Control what you can't control, and then stress over those things, rather than saying, "Oh God, my house is near the airport," or "I'm going to have to drink out of plastic bottles." Make the best decisions, but there will be a natural decline. So then maybe, like, honestly, I'm not taking testosterone, but maybe, like, I'm 40, nearly 43 now. Maybe I got my bloods done. I get my bloods done on a regular basis. I wouldn't be against taking it. If someone said, I have a doctor, Dr. Serrano, and we talk a lot about that. Like, in 5 years' time, if my levels are going down or I needed it, I would consider taking it, because it does, for guys out there, and the guys, again, over 70 patients that have taken it, it massively helps. It does, if you're deficient, and if you get it to high normal ranges in conjunction with lifestyle factors, it can be very, very beneficial.
Yeah. I suppose the reason I asked that question is there is a conception, it's a psychological thing that I see with a lot of guys, mid-30s at the moment is where I see it happening, which is where I am at the moment. Oh, I'm getting older, so my testosterone is dropping, so I can't train as hard. So I don't have the energy to do all these different things and to manage my lifestyle. And I'm like, I think you've got it backwards a little bit here. Yeah, I think you're going the wrong way about this here. So it's almost an admission that this is a natural thing that happens, and we slow down, we get a little bit older, and then so all this is okay. But all I see you doing there is propagating that cycle. Then you're just accelerating the decline.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and slagging off movie stars, but let's say, for example, I said to you that The Rock or Jason Momoa or any of these Marvel guys, I would strongly believe that these guys are taking, performance enhancement drugs. Now, they're not performance enhancement drugs, or are they? If you're in the UFC and you take drugs, not the banned substance, that you're doing that and you're
against the rules.
Yeah.
It's not against the rules in movies.
But why is it okay for them? Because you get a part over somebody else. If you rock into to do a role in Marvel and you're jacked and I'm not, because I'm not taking anything, that's an advantage that you have over me. So this is the thing, and then and that's one thing. If you're over 30 and you start to put on a lot of muscle mass, if you're putting muscle mass on you in your 50s, you're taking something for sure. But they don't talk about that.
For sure.
For sure. If you're putting a considerable amount of muscle mass on and you're in your mid-30s, like a lot of muscle mass on, chance there.
Okay, we're talking about
significant muscle mass,
okay,
which we'll see these people going to movies and they're getting jacked. But then it's unrealistic then if you'd expect that normal people can put that muscle mass on, you know. So it's
But do you think this needs to be more of a conversation? Because like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if Jason Momoa goes and does that,
who cares? Exactly.
He's not a bad person for doing that.
100%.
Now, if someone cheats, if someone cheats in an event, if it's a clean event, they cheat. I have a problem with that. That's cheating.
Me too.
It's nothing to do with steroids.
Yeah,
it's cheating.
Yeah.
But if someone gets jacked or takes steroids, it because a lot of people, I would know some people now who lift or who train, but they don't compete in anything.
Yeah.
And they openly talk about their use and this is why they do it, and they understand the risks and some of them do, and they got a lot of hate. It's like, why do you care about what this person's doing with their life?
No, it's their own business.
It's their own business, yeah. So
and once it's done in a safe manner, I have no problem with it whatsoever. But this is the key thing that I'm trying to get across there. So obviously, I'm not suggesting anyone's taking testosterone just to get jacked. I'm not saying that. But in the sports world and movie world, people are using it all the time. But then they say they don't use it. Like you heard all this, what's that, liver king?
Liver king.
Yeah, like all this crap. Like do whatever you want. But don't be online telling people they can get jacked by fucking eating testicles and what have you. Be honest. Yeah. Be honest with people. So then people can, like back in the day, you only talk about this with bodybuilders and gyms. Where now you can go to a medical professional, get your bloods done and see if you need a therapeutic amount of testosterone to optimize your health, your well-being, and for anti-aging. There's not like, and I go to travel all the time and I see guys using it therapeutically. Joe Rogan openly talks about taking it on a regular basis and using it to extend his life. So what do you want to do? Wait till you get to 50 and then go, or 60 and say, I should have taken this.
Yeah.
You know, I should have taken that back then. Yeah. Or I should have downloaded new software. You need to move with the times. I'm not saying it's the evolution everyone has to do. I'm saying if it's a deficiency and you've corrected everything else, there's not a lot of research to show that it kind of have negative connotations if aren't negative impacts in the body if you're being supervised by a physician.
Okay. You spoke there about ranges.
Yeah.
This is one that kind of gets people a bit weird. They don't really know what's going on. Medical ranges. Where do they come from and what do they mean and how do we interpret them?
Well, all medical ranges are done generally on the sick population. So when you get a range from someone, you're seeing people that anything lower than 9, they show signs. Anything above 30, it's too high, they say. But the thing about it is you can't take a hormone for its level on its own. For example, if you have there's a genetic polymorphism, which is basically a fancy word for saying genetic variation and mutation for some people. It's called CAGs, where they have very low amount of receptors to testosterone. So some people can have optimal levels, but no very low receptors. So it can't actually be using the cell that well. You could have good levels of testosterone, but you could have really poor sleep and really poor blood sugar management, and you're not optimal. You're not using it correctly. So, and this is from Dr. Serrano, and there's a doctor by the name of Dr. Neil Rougier. Definitely look him up, guys, if you want to get down a rabbit hole about levels and AI inhibitors and so on. But what he talks about is you treat the patient, you treat the symptoms, you don't fix the ranges. So maybe if someone's 25 or 26 or 40, they may not necessarily be expressing having high testosterone. Someone could be very healthy and feel really good on 16 or 17. So don't chase the lab ranges, but by having multiple labs, you can then see the trajectory of where your testosterone is going and the lifestyle you're living and the symptoms you're having. But you don't chase the labs, you chase symptoms and you chase how someone is feeling.
Not to throw shade on doctors whatsoever here, but a very common thing that I saw was people coming in, clearly demonstrating the effects or the symptoms of low testosterone, but being told they were within normal ranges.
Yeah.
This is a huge percentage of people who aren't maybe exposed to your world or functional medicine or slightly deeper level of testing. That's very common, isn't it? To be told that you are fine, but to be experiencing symptoms. So if you have symptoms, you're not fine.
Yeah. Exactly. So you may be in ranges. That one marker may be in ranges.
Yeah.
And like I see this with loads of different things. You treat the patient, you see what's going on, you have a physician that's open-minded. But total testosterone isn't the full picture. Then we talk about the receptors, we're talking about the conversion, we're talking about the free testosterone. So there's a lot of moving parts going on rather than just getting one range, one level, one number in a range. That's not what we're looking for. And then how someone is feeling. Like I can't stress this enough. The guys that I know that have been prescribed it and they've needed it, it's been game-changing for them because they've done everything else. And like there's a medication, I think it's called finasteride or finasteride. It's for stopping hair loss. A lot of guys are taking this to they don't want to lose their hair, but it really finasteride, yeah. So it can really impact on testosterone levels.
So 5 alpha reductase inhibitor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that stops people losing their hair because they don't want to make too much DHT. But the fact is, it really compromises testosterone levels. And people who here is stressed out, everyone's stressed out. So the body will, just so you know something, the body is very clever. The body only wants to keep you alive now. It doesn't care about you having 18-inch arms when you're 50. It wants to keep you alive right now. So you'll sacrifice your testosterone levels to keep you alive now if you're under stress with cortisol and poor sleep and poor blood sugar management. Building muscle mass, maintaining bone density, maintaining muscle mass isn't a priority right now. Keeping you alive right now is a priority. So when someone has erosion and they're just the lifestyle and their habits are just wearing the body down, don't be surprised if your testosterone is low. I don't think necessarily taking testosterone on their own is going to fix the problem, but in conjunction with a whole lifestyle changeover, it can be transformative. It really can.
Yeah, you alluded to this already, but again, it's one of these kind of hot pop topics that people talk about: free versus active testosterone. What does that mean? Because people come in with a total figure and they're like, my testosterone is X, but as you've said a couple of times now, that number by itself means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so hormones are carried around through the body, generally through a globulin, generally, not always. And the fact is that when something is bound, it's not really that active. It has to be the free levels. So just because you check someone's total level doesn't mean you know what the free level is. And free level isn't really that regularly checked either. And then you don't know the impact it's having on the body. If you're completely toxic, your cells are rancid, you're dehydrated, that free testosterone you have won't have the impact. It's like getting a salary and then having a really big mortgage or rent at the end of the month. It's all taken away. There's none free for pocket money that you can actually use. Pocket money, but free disposable income, not pocket money, but free disposable income. So again, most people don't even test that in the first place. But you should always chase symptoms, not just getting lab values all the time.
Yeah. Females, testosterone in females.
Yeah.
It's part of the equation here.
It is. And this is the thing, you've females out there, I'm not going to go down a whole PCOS route, but people that have high levels of estrogen, high levels of testosterone in the body can cause a lot of hormonal dysregulation for women. But but this is the thing, women have a lot more hormonal variation going on in the body than males have. So getting optimal levels of testosterone for female is my major focus, is to get their adrenals healthy, to get their ovarian function working well, manage their stress. But I have no female that's on testosterone replacement therapy at all.
Really?
No, none.
As in, it's not.
It's not. The people that I have, if they have an issue in that compartment, they don't end up coming to me. So I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it something that's done?
Well, I've been in the States many times, and I know a lot of females taking testosterone from a muscle building point of view, but from an anti-aging point of view, it's not a general practice.
And
that I'm aware of.
This 50-50-50 thing, how have female hormone profiles changed? We won't go way off topic here, but over the last 50 years, men's has obviously been on a slow decline.
Yeah.
Same with women.
Yeah, well, this topic. So I'm not going to overshare here. My wife will kill me. But let's just say there's people in my network that are relatively young, and I'd say early 40s, going through menopause. So I think there's again, these endocrine disruptors, chemicals, stress, environment, whatever it may be, is people are going through the change substantially earlier. And then they would show signs. So people say, like, libido was one thing, interest in sex and so on, and energy and vitality and vaginal lubrication, all these things that progesterone and estrogen and testosterone do together, there is a massive decline. So I would say it's similar, if not faster, for women. Like women, like young girls, I've got young kids at home, girls, like periods are happening. People are having periods at 9 and 10. I think the average age in Europe is 8 now, So
is that environmental exposure?
Environmental exposure, yeah. So then these girls are unfortunately being robbed of their youth. They're going through puberty relatively early, and then they're getting their menopause early. So there's a lot of stuff that's impacting our hormones. Our body is listening to our environment all the time, from the light that we see in our eyes to the oxygen concentration to pollution to food to everything. So we're getting all these messages in, and unfortunately it's having a negative impact on our normal circadian rhythm of our hormones. Like, we have a cycle. Men have a cycle. We have a cycle with thyroid and testosterone and cortisol and sleep and melatonin. Same to women have their menstrual cycle. We all have these hormonal rhythms all the time. And unfortunately, there's a lot of spanners being thrown into the works, and that's causing these things not to be as seamless as they would be. And then our resilience is going down. In functional medicine, we call it organ reserve. You can push people. Like, I can push you, as in, I can give you more alcohol. And there's the level the body can tolerate, and then it's going to melt down. Same with blood sugar. I can keep pushing blood sugar at you, to a lot of sugar, and over time there's going to be deleterious impact on your pancreas, on your fatty liver. So the body has an ability to combat some things, but it's the constant slaughter of poor nutrition, poor sleep, poor stress management, overtraining, or not exercising at all. And that's going to have this long-term impact on testosterone levels and ovarian function and fertility and muscle mass and cognition and brain health and neuroplasticity and all these things. So the more onslaught the body has to counteract, the focus is today keeping you alive, not about your longevity and health down the line.
Yeah, I spoke to Aisling Fox, OK Nutrition, I think recently about fertility, and one of the big things that came up in that conversation was hormonal birth control as well. Yeah. Hormonal birth control for young girls who it's thrown at them to fix everything, and then they're seeing downstream effects years later, but also it's in the fucking water now. For men are consuming that stuff as well, which is another environmental toxin for men. Yeah. It's absolutely nuts. For the kind of big movers, you've kind of touched on them really there, but some of the biggest movers for you in terms of optimizing testosterone before you go anywhere near TRT, sleep, nutrition, and managing stress.
Yeah. So it's different for different people. So if you come into me, Dan, your sleep is on point, I'm not going to touch that.
Yeah.
If it is an issue though, it has to be addressed. Sleep, guys, I can't.
Is anybody's sleep on point?
You know what? I think people 80% of the time, like we're big. I'm involved in a tech company now. We're doing a lot of tracking and wearables and Whoop and Apple Watches and so on. So some people have good sleep majority of the time. But it's sleep hygiene is the routine of your sleep that's more important necessarily, and how consistent you are. But I'm not going to say everyone's 100% on point with sleep, but I've got guys that have no issue falling asleep. They get at least 7 hours sleep every night. And that's good enough for me to start. That I wouldn't focus on that. Once someone's getting continuous sleep, at least 7 hours, they got a good sleep routine or hygiene, then I'll focus on blood sugar management. Focus on getting that blood sugar quality, then I'll focus on nutrient density. Now, I could do all at the same time. It depends on what someone presents with.
Okay. Do you see many men coming to you with fertility issues?
You know, it's a funny thing. I've had lots of people that I have helped. Well, no, they've tried to enhance their health before they've gone down the fertility route. Yeah. There's a lot of things that can be done. This is the thing. Like the testes, testosterone make you big, but they're fragile. They're fragile. You got a flick in the balls, you know all about it. But your testes are outside your body, so they're at a lower body temperature. They're very fragile. So a lot of times when people come to me and they're like, we're going to try to have a baby down the line. It's like, okay, well, what can you do now to optimize your health? Stop wearing briefs. Stop having baths. Don't be a smoker. Smoking, there's not even a question on that matter. Nutrient quality, good sleep, good blood sugar management. Then once you have those all tick the box, but then by all means go and see a fertility doctor. But there's a lot of things that you can do naturally to support your own body's health and vitality before you necessarily get down the fertility route. And this is the thing, the quality of your sperm. You want that to be of the best essence of your whole body. You don't want it to be garbage in, garbage out. And I mean garbage out as in the quality of your sperm is going to be terrible. The motility, the sperm count has gone down massively. The motility as in the drive of the sperm has gone down. So what if you are looking to have a baby or improve your sperm count, focus on your lifestyle so your sperm actually is the highest quality possible, so then it'll be more positive an outcome for the conception. Yeah,
that was a huge point that came out of that conversation with Aisling as well. People and loads of feedback from people saying, I didn't realise it's 50% contribution to the quality of that embryo. So lads think, I just get the job done and that's pretty much it. And it's the quality of how that thing grows afterwards. Massively relates to it. Yeah.
Huge.
And the last couple of things to touch on here, testosterone. People don't realise the link between cardiac health. Yeah. There's a massive link.
Huge link. And this is the thing, like all hormones, they don't just do one thing. It's not just about erections and libido. Endothelial health, cognition, drive, dopamine, enjoyment, heart health, cardiovascular function. It's massive. Like any hormone, it has much more far-reaching impact in the body than we're aware of. And the more and more research out there is backing it all up.
From your perspective, there's a massive issue with psychological health, mental health, anxiety, depression at the moment, and a lot of the treatments for that are pharmaceutical.
Yeah.
That also has an effect on testosterone as well. Some of those medications. Yeah, it does. Yeah. How does that work?
So anytime you start taking, like, let's say, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor, Lexapro, or these antidepressants, it downregulates your own body's production of testosterone. So and this is with nearly all pharmaceuticals on the market. Every drug in the body has to be detoxified, and it has a certain shelf life in your body. So if you take the contraceptive pill, you take Lipitor, you take Lexapro, it has to be filtered through the body. And when you filter it through the body, it takes vitamins and minerals, it takes amino acids, and it requires a processing, you want to call it, system in the body. And that processing system can actually take away some raw materials for the production of testosterone. For example, what's the raw molecule that makes testosterone? Cholesterol.
Cholesterol, yeah.
But everyone's trying to lower the cholesterol.
Yeah.
So and then they're taking Lipitor to bring down the cholesterol, and then again up to 70 to 80% of the cholesterol we have in our body our liver makes. But if you're smashing alcohol into your liver, it's not going to be making the correct cholesterol to make that. And then your adrenal glands, they're very important for the management of stress, but they've been whacked out of it. Poor sleep and poor blood sugar management and, stress all the time. And now we're stressing about things that haven't even happened, that might not even happen. So if I punch you in the arm or I give you COVID or I insult you, the body doesn't understand the different levels of stress. It doesn't respond the same way. So if people are stressing about their mortgage or their relationships or their business, that is draining those adrenal glands, which puts the body in that flight or fight response, which isn't the growth and repair phase of the body, and then that will have a negative impact on testosterone production.
So I'm going to paint two scenarios for you, two pictures here, and you can tell me if you agree with them or not, and give me your opinion on it. But I think this encapsulates a huge amount of people that I would have seen. You have somebody who potentially presents with high cholesterol, and they are concerned, or their doctor or whatever is concerned about cardiac issues going forward. So they go on a statin to lower their cholesterol, but don't actually manage any of the lifestyle factors, and in a roundabout way can actually potentially increase the risk of cardiac issues by taking the medication that they think is going to stop the cardiac issues. Scenario number one. Scenario number two, somebody comes in who was really struggling with mental health issues, depression, anxiety, whatever it might be, and again, not managing any of the lifestyle factors, gets a Lexapro, gets an SSRI or whatever, and downregulates the testosterone even more, causes further problems, and haven't actually addressed the root. I know probably hundreds of people I've met in my life who are just following that pathway now, and now they're so deep into it. There's no way they're going to the gym. They're not reaching out their own late. They're not listening to a podcast. They're not going for a walk in the morning. Not improving the quality of their sleep. They're in the depths of it, but they're just being held back from the brink by the medication. Is that a familiar scenario?
And I see it all the time. I've got relatives, I've got people in my family exactly the same situation. But this is the thing: the antecedents, triggers, and mediators. This person comes in with high cholesterol. Well, why? Is it why are they making more cholesterol? Have you checked their thyroid function? Have you checked the testosterone function? Maybe the body is making more cholesterol because it needs it. And again, cholesterol has multiple different factors in the body, but just giving a pill doesn't cause the problem, doesn't solve the problem. Getting to the root of the problem. And this is the thing, mental health. Like there's one intervention that has been shown to work every single time. Exercise. Exercise has been shown to help every single form of depression, mental health on the planet. Get out and get moving. When's the last time you give them a script of exercise? So I'm not against pharmaceutical drugs in any way, shape, or form. I think they have their place in a complete treatment plan. However, it's not going to solve an issue if there's other factors going on. If someone's not sleeping, they've got a CPAP machine, they're overweight, their neck is big, they've got blocked sinuses or deviated septums, just taking a CPAP machine is not going to fix it. The same way just taking Lipitor is not going to get to the root cause of why this person has super high levels of cholesterol. So there's more. And this is the thing. You deserve more. I finished the book there last week called Chatter, Internal Talk Inside Your Brain. You deserve better. When you go to a doctor, you're giving your health to that doctor and you're hoping that they're going to help you with a prescription. No, you deserve better. You deserve better food. You deserve better coaching. You deserve a better investigation to your health to make you better. So don't just put up with that. Don't put up with a shitty little medication thing that's going to solve it. It's not. You need to actively grab your life now. And I say this to everybody. We have an return of investment. People think, I'm going to invest my money here. The most valuable thing you have on the planet is your time. So don't waste your time doing stuff that's not helping you. Alcohol, smoking, poor sleep, all the stress that people are under. You can actively look and get help. There's podcasters. I actually just sent on Sarah Maloney's podcast to a friend this morning.
Brilliant.
I've just flicked through your profile. You've got so many people that have been on this podcast that can help so many different people in different avenues. So the information is out there. What isn't out there is to get up and go, to actually make better decisions. So if you want to be fit and healthy and have high levels of testosterone, act like that person. That person sleeps well, exercises, and if they don't exercise, they reach out to a coach. They don't know what to do with their nutrition, they reach out to a nutritionist. But reach out to people that have your best interest in time, at heart. That it's not just take my generic calorie reduction and just do this program. Go to someone that's going to listen to you. Go to someone that has a network of professionals, whether it be maybe TRT doctors, maybe it's chiropractors, maybe it's IVs, maybe it's diet, maybe it's allergy testing, whatever it is. But go to people that have your best interest at heart and aren't just going to give you some standard token medication and say, off you go. And that goes for TRT too. You just go to a doctor and he gives you TRT. That's not the full picture either. So there has to be much more things involved in it. So it's blood sugar management. And if you fix the problems in conjunction with TRT, it can have a massive impact.
Why is it really hard to find here?
Well, it's funny. It's not actually as hard as people believe. I had a meeting last Friday with a colleague of mine. He's a physician in Dundrum. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to have a list of physicians that I can refer people on to. And I found, I've got 5 doctors.
Five?
Five.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're confidential. I can't give them.
Yeah.
But actually, the new place, his name is Dr. Alan Farrell. His company is based in Ranelagh. It's called the Northbrook Clinic. And his website goes, I think it's cdxp.com. But he's a doctor from Trinity College, and he's qualified in sports medicine. So he's a master's in sports medicine. And he does a testosterone replacement program where you get an hour consultation. You get your complete blood count done, and then you get follow up, and you get your testosterone. And this is the thing. I've got other guys. There's another guy in Bray, I think it is. And unfortunately, his recommendation for testosterone is an injection every 10 to 12 weeks. There's different esters, guys, where they bind the testosterone to another ester and it gets dissolved in the body over time. But every 10 to 12 weeks the research from the leading experts in the US when it comes to testosterone replacement therapy is maybe once a week is a low level, maybe twice a week is a bit more recommended, and then and taking a pharmaceutical prescribed, provided by a pharmacy, not just some testosterone you got off some fella in the gym. That's not what you want to do. So you want to be qualified. You want to be shown properly from a physician how to administer the actual injections, if they are, because there's some gels out there that can be gels and creams that have been very beneficial, but you have to apply the cream twice a day, in the morning, in the evening, and so on. And there's cross contamination with kids, and also there's
very hard to control dosage and absorption and stuff.
It is. Yeah. Now, some people prefer it. Obviously, taking an injection is not ideal. There's some speed coming along with an oral testosterone, but at the moment, it's mainly subcutaneous injections or IM injections.
And just to clarify for people, prescribed under supervision by a doctor,
yes, 100%,
is legal in this country.
Yes,
because people freak out. They think it couldn't be legal because it's a steroid. Is it?
But the pill is a steroid.
Everything's a steroid.
An inhaler,
people going for steroid injections all the time. Insulin, it's just a tool.
Yeah, exactly. And if this is something that you need, go for it. And again, once it's medically supervised, there's no contraindications. Family medical history that might be counteractive towards it. Yeah. But it's the super levels that the side effects. If you're getting your levels back to where you were when you were younger, which you actually don't know, so it's hard to get it back to that level. But there's little to no risk if you're not going super physiological levels. It's the levels that people are taking for professional bodybuilders that you have to take something else to bring it down, to counteract the aromatase and all this sort of stuff. So if you're taking a therapeutic level from a physician that has done your blood work, that's going to monitor you closely, they're going to minimize the risk of that intervention. But just don't do it yourself. Go off and get something on the black market and so on. It's not pure, and it's not going to be supervised, and you won't get the benefit from it that you potentially could.
What I like about pretty much all these conversations we have, which a lot of people don't like, is it always comes back to the same kind of stuff again. Good lifestyle, take care of yourself.
Sorry about that.
I think, did you hear Peter Attia say recently, I think he talked about VO2 max as the one data point above all other data points that is mostly connected with longevity and health span is a high VO2 max. And some of the high VO2 max is somebody who exercises and takes care of themselves. I don't know what it is.
Sean's loving that now.
Sean is popping off since speaking to the podcast as well. He's loving it.
Sure.
I don't know, is that like a healthy user bias, or is that the VO2 max actually indicates a higher, better cardiovascular function and stuff like that? But
I don't know whether I fully agree with that. But this is the thing. There's a lot more good tests when it comes to cardiovascular function than there is strength training. But he also has a 2-minute hang for a lot of people over 40. He's got, I think, 100% body weight per ham for a farmer's walk. He has that as well. 75% for women. So he's got other things, not just the cardiovascular function, but VO2 max test, and I know Sean's going to love that. I think cardiovascular function is massive. I do think that people do need to have a certain level, but if I said to you, what can you bench, what can you squat, what can you deadlift, there's so many variables. How fast you do it, the tempo, the equipment. So there's not as much good research on strength training and strength and conditioning as there is when it comes to cardiovascular training, because you can jump in a treadmill, put a mask on, and you can control a lot of the variables. But when it comes to weight training, not a lot of gyms have force plates. It's leverage wise, muscle mass, age, and so on. But grip, there's some good research on grip training, or grip strength and longevity too, which again can be associated with muscle mass.
And I think for most people, if you are doing some form of resistance work, doing some form of cardiovascular work, have some level of good nutrition, some level of good sleep, some level of connection, relationship in your life, you're doing pretty damn good. Yeah. I'm just going to see if there's any more questions coming in. I think we've covered the questions on Instagram we put out there. So we had total testosterone you've covered. There was a question came in. We'll ask it. Could you ask if asthma, is there any link with asthma medication and a reduction in testosterone?
Not that I'm aware of, but a lot of medications can have different impacts on different parts of the body. So I'm not going to say, the answer is I don't know the answer to that. So I can't say I know. Not that I've seen, but it's definitely worth looking into.
Okay. Do you think TRT is an inevitability for most men that want to maintain performance as we age now? Performance. I just came from an athlete, so I'm imagining.
Inevitability, it's not inevitable, you know. So you don't have to, but this is the thing I'm trying to. I really, really, really tried to see the negative impacts of taking it therapeutically, being supervised by a physician. I really have, and that's why I'm not on it. But I'm very like I'm trying to find a reason not to, and I can't. Yeah. So if you like, this is the thing. I know you love your bike, Stan. Like your bike goes seriously fast. You don't drive it that fast. Well, I'm sure maybe you do.
120. It does 120 on the motorway.
All right, but I'm sure, like people, if you want to get, we're all going to age. So like I see people with Botox and boobs and all this surgery to get on. This is if monitored, can be a very safe hormone to help you age slower and have better mobility and health and so on. So it's not an inevitability, but the research is very supportive that a lot of people could benefit from doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm finding it very hard not to say yes to this.
Political answer there. Yeah. The bottom line, I think, you've only got one. This is cliche. You've got one life. Nothing is risk free. You make a decision. What's going to give you the best quality of life day to day, and this is potentially riding my motorbike has inherent risks. I understand those risks and I take those risks anyway because it gives me something else. There's another benefit. So there's pros and cons. It's the same kind of thing with testosterone, I think. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, but this is the thing. If you know that you're going to take testosterone now to get you again into the optimal ranges where you want to be, your body, your health, your well-being will age slower as you go on.
Yeah.
But the benefit of doing it when you're 60.
Yeah.
And I say this to people all the time. I'm sure we all remember our first car. We're not still driving a first car. You're not driving your first bike or your first car. We've changed over. We only get one body.
Yeah.
So if you look after yourself now and you maybe slow down the aging process and do all, like this is the thing, supplements, they'll help you with testosterone, but nowhere near what testosterone replacement therapy would do. So if you can slow down age, and that's what I'm not saying to guys out there now in their 30s, but if you're after, like I'm having no more kids, and if you do take testosterone, guys, it will massively impact your sperm count and so on.
That's on mic now. You do know that.
I do know it. Yeah. My wife knows. She does a Georgie Borges at me all the time with the snippers. I'm like, that's not how it's not a medical procedure, Susie. But I'm not having no more kids, that's for sure. But the fact is, it will impact your sperm production. But if you can slow down your age, and let's say you decide not to have kids after 45, and then you're just trying to age slower. But if you're 30 guys, you're 25, I don't think there's any need for it whatsoever.
Yeah. Sorry, that's another question that jumped in my head when you said that there. People are terrified if I start taking TRT, everything shrinks because now I'm not producing it naturally myself.
Well, that is true. So you do have testicular atrophy where your balls do shrink to a certain degree. Some people have that more than others. I don't go around checking people's balls. That's not something that I do. But sometimes it's in people's heads that their balls are shrinking and not necessarily. But this is the thing. If you are on super high levels, that happens much more. If you're on a therapeutic level, it won't have as big of an impact on your testicle size, but it will impact your sperm production because you're taking an outside amount of testosterone in where you're not producing it yourself.
Would that shrinkage happen anyway if you had really bad lifestyle, weren't on TRT?
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, kind of a trade-off. This was meant to be a funny question, but I'm going to ask it because it's a good point to make around it. How to convince your doctor to hook you up with a little dose of TRT. But again, this comes back to people viewing it as the silver bullet.
Okay.
Is a little dose of that.
What I'd say is if you wanted to possibly skew the conversation in that direction, that Adam questionnaire that I listed down, just have a look at that, and that might give you you can reverse engineer some of the questions possibly. But yeah.
And another what I think is a funny question, but again, there's another good point to be made behind it. If testosterone is natural and I take it, am I even more natural than before?
Yeah.
But again, it's this optimization thing. You're trying to maintain those natural. There's supernatural levels and then there's natural levels.
But a plane isn't natural. A bridge isn't natural. These are not. So there's a lot of unnatural things going on. But from a health point of view, if you're ticking all the boxes and you're seeing a physician and you're doing everything else right, taking a small amount of testosterone to optimize your own levels, to prevent aging, to have better joint health, focus, mental health, there is very little. And there is some contraindications and you have to check that out yourself. But there is a lot of positives.
Yeah. I want to come back in next time, big square jaw and boulder shoulders.
I mean, massive beard, forehead, hairy forehead and all sorts.
Is there anything I've missed there that you think is important for this conversation around testosterone?
No, the only thing I would say I would focus on, if guys are out there, please just get someone that knows what they're doing. Yeah. Find a doctor, look up online. There's a lot of experts online in this field, but just please don't go buying something from the black market or get them from a gym and then like I hear people getting infections from injection sites and they're not trained. Just go and see a physician that's like-minded, that can set you up. If you continue with them, I think you should. But there is a lot of practices out there. Like I've got a friend of mine who goes to Mexico every year, goes with his doctor, gets a script for a whole year, and comes back with his prescription for a whole year. No joke. He uses a little.
Can you bring that stuff in through the airport?
If you get so what they do
prescription for personal use.
Yeah, for personal use. But what they do is I'm going to rat him out now, but it's basically they prescribe much higher than he actually has. So I think he can take 3 months with you, but because they give him so high, it lasts him
12 months. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Owen, absolutely fantastic. As always, really, really appreciate your time there. I think we've busted a few myths there. I think the big one for me, just to reiterate, to put that all in a nice little wrap up. If you don't feel good, don't stop. So if you don't feel good and you've been told you're fine, just keep asking questions, keep moving forward, because if you don't, that's the ultimate thing, isn't it? That's why we're doing this whole thing. You want to feel good, you want to live your life.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I think people pass the parcel to their health, to their doctor. No, your health is in your hands, and you have to make better decisions. If your doctor isn't open-minded, if he's not looking to support in every aspect of your life, go to see somebody else.
Yeah.
Go to see somebody else. Surround yourself with positive people. Surround yourself with people that have your best interest at heart, whether that be from a nutrition, training, mindset, ice baths, saunas, whatever it may be. But there's a lot of information out there, guys. But just action it. Don't just talk about it. This talk of business. No. There's stuff that we can do right now. I can guarantee you now, there's people listening to this podcast now, if you drink more water, improve your sleep, improve your blood sugar levels, your testosterone won't go up. 100%. Be consistent with that. Then you can look into other things down the line.
Yeah. You've just set us up for our next podcast, because you said it 3 or 4 times, said blood sugar, insulin, all that kind of stuff.
Okay,
We're going to do another one on that if you don't mind. But
no problem.
It's always a treat. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the information. And if people want to reach out, are you still seeing people? Or are you so busy now you can't?
I know I still see people. The clinic is really only open Friday and Saturday. I see people Friday and Saturday in the clinic. But yeah, always. And this is the thing, guys. If you do want to reach out and you have a question, by all means, just DM me. I'll send you on the physicians that I use, the people that I go to, the people that I know that are experts in that field for sure. And then there's another, like we haven't even talked about peptides. That's a different story. I have actually, you have an expert coming over soon enough, Dan. You do? Yeah, maybe you'll talk about that to you.
And can people get your courses and stuff on Eoin Lacey Education?
Yeah, Eoin Lacey Education. They're more for trainers than for normal Joe Schmo. Yeah, but a lot of trainers. So EoinLaceyEducation.com. Check it out. There's some courses there for group fitness, for well-being, for performance, for program design, a few nutrition courses there. And I will be hosting the end of July. I'm doing an internship. So I had an internship last week. I haven't done them in a number of years, where I take a small group of people. They submit what they want to learn, and we spend 3 or 4 days, up to 5 days for some people, just going through exactly what they want, whether it be business, whether it be functional medicine, whether it be blood chemistry, whether it be training, whether it be sports, whether it be strength and conditioning, whatever it is. They submit their topic, and then I build the course around what they want. And then I bring people in that will see, if they want to deal with athletes, I'll bring an athlete in and go through a testing mechanism. Or if they want to learn about blood chemistry, I'll get their bloods done and we go through their blood chemistry. So it's interesting. I stepped away from it for a long time, all the madness in the last few years, but I love it. I love it. Small group of people, really in-depth information. That way I can go off and whatever in-depth I want, where big courses you can't really. So yeah. I'm going to be one of those the end of July. So you'll see it on the Instagram.
Brilliant. Oh, thanks for your time.
No problem at all, Dan.
Thanks. Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Folks, thank you so much for listening to that episode. If you want to check out some of the best bits from previous episodes, just click right here.